Hi. No, here I don't. Here at my position, I'm a 100% research position, which is actually why I took it. Back home, I'm a professor and I work at a teaching school. We kind of divide schools into teaching versus research schools back home. And I teach 7 classes a year. I teach standard classes in Victorian literature because that's what I was trained in specifically. It's a little weird. I was trained as a Victorian literature PhD, which is like 1800s era literature. But because I wrote my first book on microbiology and its impact on public health in the Victorian era, I also teach something called the medical humanities. I've explained that in other threads, but that means that I've taught things like I teach an intro to medical humanities course, but I also have taught medical ethics. That's not my main specialty, but I've taught it before. I teach a class called modern drama, which is not really my field. So I basically made it a class about Ibsen and Strindberg because it's like all I knew. I teach a post-colonial lit class. I teach a lot of things in shorter, like fun terms. Like we do little whole classes in 3 weeks in January. I teach a class on the history of zombie films starting from 1930 up to today. And I also teach a class about true crime podcasts and kind of teaching my students to think through like the ethics of that, whether it's good or bad. But as much as I love teaching, and I have won awards for my teaching at my school, after COVID, nobody's doing well, and students are having such a difficult time. They're needing a lot from professors, which is great, but one part of my backstory is that I was originally in a PhD program for clinical psychology. And even then, I wanted to be a statistician, not a therapist. But I left the whole field. And so, I mean, I am by definition not a trained therapist. And as much as I want to help, I'm getting like caregiver fatigue. And so taking this 2-year job in Norway that is 100% research. Research is what lights my fire. I like teaching, but research gives me a reason to live. I love asking questions, noticing things, if you can't tell from my videos. And so I'm taking kind of these 2 years to like be able to have more to give to my students when I go back to teaching, because my cup is just empty right now. So here I'm not teaching. I will be giving a few guest lectures, I think, at some point.